We are gathered here today to talk about Beau is Afraid. It was Saturday night. I lied. It was Friday night. No, I lied. It was Sunday night. I lied again. It was Monday night. Monday night after Six Flags. We're like, okay, let's watch a movie. Let's find a movie. We're looking. I want comedy. He wanted to watch he likes scary. He likes horror. I was like, wow, I can't do horror. He was like, well, thriller. I was like, okay. If we can find a comedy thriller, we can meet in the middle, dance all night. So I find what I thought was supposed to be a comedy thriller, because it says comedy thriller. Beau was Afraid. So I said, okay, is that Joaquin Phoenix? Okay, let's see what this is about. Immediately confused. Okay, immediately confused. The movie is, pardon my French, it's a little crazy, right? Anyway, you don't know what's real, you don't know what's fake, you don't know like what's in his imagination. Of course, I'm like, okay, maybe this is a movie about schizophrenia. Cause he's in his apartment. It's giving projects, right? It's giving government housing, which we find out later that it's more so corporate housing. But he is in his bed, he's trying to sleep. He's getting notes under his door about turning down the music. I'm looking around, everybody's on mute. He's not playing any music. So I'm like, is he imagining the notes? Is he playing music but not realizing? Is the person thinking that it's his apartment when it's not? Is that person on drugs? Does that person have schizophrenia? I don't know what's going on. So we're watching it. He finally wakes up. He's late for his flight to go home to see his mom. And then he, like, it's about to leave. He has his keys in the door like a dumbass in his suitcase outside. He runs back inside for something, comes back to his door. Obviously his keys and his suitcase are gone. Girly, like, not the victim blame, but like, okay, come on, that's kind of on you, sister. And so then he's like, oh fuck, I didn't take my new psychiatry meds. So then he's like, well, I don't have a key to get back in the building. So he puts like a little phone book in his door. He runs across to the little convenience store, trying not to get stabbed, literally trying not to get stabbed and assaulted by the people who are outside. And then he runs back and tries, it's taken for his car keeps getting declined. And so then he's trying to pay with cash and coins. And then as that's happening, everybody is rolling into like his apartment building because, they left the door open and his door is unlocked. And so then they all go into his actual apartment and it's like a gaggle. I mean, like the whole block is in his apartment doing all sorts of nefarious things. Like, again, it looks like it can't be real. So he's trying to go back, and then, but like he's like staying out there because it's like he's locked out. They're all up in his apartment. He goes back to his apartment. It's a hot ass mess, right? Everything is like broken and messed up. He calls his mom, like, hey girl, this might be before he calls mom, but he's like, hey girl, I lost my my keys were in the door, my suitcase was stolen. His mom's like, okay, sure, Jan. And he's like, no, for real. But he's like, I need help, what should I do? And she's useless. We keep getting flashbacks to him being in the bathtub, and like having inappropriate conversations with his mom. Like, it's giving SA a little bit. It was just strange. And then he calls his mom back later, and then the UPS man answers, and he's like, girl, there's a body in here without a head. A chandelier fell on it. Can you describe your mom? And he's like, blah, blah, blah. And the man was like, oh, well, maybe it's the wrong number. Just try calling again. Mind you, he called from the safe contact. So he hung up, called mom again. UPS man answers, I'm so sorry. Beau was like, girl, no. So he's distraught. He goes back outside for something. And then he like runs again to try to avoid the stabbing and stuff. I believe that's what's happening. And then he gets hit by a car or a truck or something. And then he wakes up and he's at Holly Flax's house. Okay. He's in like a room full of K-pop posters. Holly Flax comes in. She was like, yeah, girl, you got stabbed and we hit you and we're sorry for hitting you. And so we're going to take care of you. So I'm immediately like, okay, girl. They hit him. They don't want to pay claims. They don't want to pay insurance. they figured, hey, let's just get this man and just, nurse him back to life, or keep him and manipulate him and brainwash him. Because at this point, I don't know what's going on, right? And mind you, this movie is 3 hours, which I didn't know when we started it, but it was 3 hours long. That being said, this video can be 3 hours long, so I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit. So he's at Holly's house. Nathan Lane is there too. That's her husband, ironically. And so they're there. Nathan Lane is giving like very much odd behavior, very much like, we can't tell him what's going on. Let's just pretend to be nice and yada yada yada. So they're doing that. Beau's like, bitch, I gotta get home. My mama is dead. I gotta get home for the funeral. My lawyer called and he said that we can't have the funeral until I get there, and that she's not at rest until I get there. So Beau's trying to like, okay, bitch, I gotta get home. Nathan Lane's like, girl, I have a random convenient surgery tonight, but can I take it tomorrow? And Beau was like, girl, no, I need to go now. And then Nathan Lane, but yeah, but the surgery, blah, blah. And then he was like, but I would never want to keep you from your family. So, I mean, it's your choice. Do you mind if we go tomorrow? And of course, Beau's like, okay, we can go tomorrow. And then, meanwhile, Holly Flax is leaving him little notes like, girl, be careful. Stop incriminating yourself, yada, yada. And then he's in the living room. And she's like, turn to channel 78. And he turns to channel 78. And it's a live feed of like the living room, like a camera of the living room. And so Beau rewinds it to see like how much it's recording, and then he fast forwards it, and then bitch, the video goes into the future, and which is crazy. So I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna see some of these scenes, and lo and behold, we see some of those scenes. And then some of the flashbacks, the boy, like Beau was there, but then there was another little kid who I thought was Beau, but then it wasn't. So I'm assuming, okay, his brother got banished up into the attic, to never be seen from or heard from again. Whereas Beau's staying in this little girl's room. The little girl's sleeping on the couch now. Holly Flax's, their older son, passed, but they won't let Beau go into that room, and so then the girl's all mad, and then she's kind of like, she's a little terrible. She like makes Beau smoke some stuff and pretend she's taking him home, but really she's not. She took him back to their house, and then later she's like, let's throw paint all over, her deceased brother's room. And then she like writes Beau in big letters, and then she starts drinking the paint. And as she's drinking the paint, she dies by suicide. So then Holly comes in. She's like, oh my god, what did you do to my daughter? So she's distraught. Joaquin Phoenix is like, I didn't do anything, I promise. And then so he has to run because he's not being chased, right? And they live with this veteran man too, who also hates Beau, so he's trying to go get him. Mind you, Beau has an ankle monitor on, so they're gonna track his ass anyway. Beau's running, falls, hits a tree. Mind you, he got stabbed. He got hit by a car. Why are we running through the woods? But okay, he falls. He wakes up. This pregnant lady takes him to this little village. He sees a play. He imagines himself in the play. And then he imagines himself he imagines that the play is about him and that his 3 sons are on stage. So he's like, oh my god, my 3 sons, I missed you, I'm so sorry, where's your mother? And they're like, oh girl, we don't know, we thought she was with you. He's like, oh no. And they start telling a story about how his dad and his dad's dad and his dad's dad all died by finishing inside of the mother of their children, and like that's how they died, their curse. So then Beau's 3 kids were like, well girl, if that's the case and you're alive, how are your kids? And then Beau said, and he came back to alleged reality, and now he's watching the play, and it's just a regular old play, and this other man comes and starts talking to him, and it gets weird. And then next thing you know, landmines and bombs and bazookas and rocket launchers are going off. And then Beau's again running some more after being battered and assaulted all day. And then where does he go after that? He runs to the road. He gets a ride to his house, to his mom's house. He gets to his mom's house. They're like putting away the stuff from Shiva. And so he's like, oh, like, is it starting? And they're like, oh, girl, you missed it. He gets inside. There's like a video playing about like his mom's passing and everything. He sees a casket, and in there is a, sorry, I should have trigger warning for all of this, but there's like a headless body in the casket with like arms folded. And I said, this is so unhinged because it's like open. Like, this is so unhinged. But on the hands, there appears to be like blood or like some kind of mark, right? So he's going through his mom's house, going through the stuff. On the wall, he sees a picture of like what appears to be his mom's employees, and on that picture was Nathan Lane, bitch. I said, oh my god. And this other girl that he's obsessed with that he met at camp forever ago. So then this lady that he's obsessed with, she comes in, and he's like, oh, I'm Beau. And she's like, oh my god, Beau. He's like, I waited for you. I never did the deed, because you told me not to. You told me to wait for you. And so then they go to his mom's bedroom, and they get down to it. Beau is obviously afraid because he feels like once he finishes, he's going to die. But also his wivels are like gigantic, like abnormally gigantic. So he finishes making love to the woman, and then like he is like afraid he's gonna die, but then he doesn't. So he's like, okay, yay. And then she keeps going, and then she dies. And then his mom comes out of the shadows and is like, look what you've done. How dare you? Plot twist. His mother, alleged dead mother comes out of the shadows and is like, how dare you? In your dead mother's bed, you saw blah, blah, blah. This is what's on your mind, yada, yada, yada. And she has like these like housekeepers come and take the lady who was, having relations with. They take her body, and the mom is like, give it to Henry or to Harry, which Harry is the brother, Beau's brother. So then they're going back and forth, and Beau's like, bitch, I knew you wasn't dead. I saw the birthmark on the hand in the casket, and that belongs to those are the hands of like their housekeeper / his nanny. I was like, okay, well, that's crazy. And she was like, well, I didn't kill her. She volunteered. I tried to stop her, but there's nothing I could do to stop her. And then the therapist comes out a little bit later. So the therapist is in cahoots with the mom, and they're playing the voice recordings from both therapy sessions. And then Beau was like, bitch, I know my father is alive, ho. And then she's like, girl, no, you want to know the truth? You can't handle the truth. And she said, okay, bitch, go up there to the attic and see. So he goes to the attic. We see Beau's twin brother. And then in the corner is his father, which is just a giant, this movie's rated R. Giant, like testicles and a shaft connected to said testicles. And that's his father, allegedly. And I'm not exaggerating, that's what it was. It was just a giant genitalia. Anatomically male. Is that right? Is that how you would say that? Is that correct? Like, I know atomically male makes sense, but is it like if somebody, let's say, is like a trans man, would you say that they're atomic? Like, how would you? Either way, he had those parts. But also let me know in the comments if I'm like, because I know like his like sex assigned at birth, like the parts of someone who was assigned male at birth is what his father was, just the parts. And he's in the corner like, and the next thing you know, the veteran man from Holly's house comes through the window, busts through, and it starts stabbing the father, stabbing, shooting, letting off rounds, pop, 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 and then Beau's freaking out, and then I feel like the father did something to kill him, or was it Beau? somebody did something to kill the veteran man. And then Beau's freaking out. He's freaking out. And then they let down the stair thing. Beau comes back down there. Mom and therapist fucking around. Not like literally like getting down to it, but like they're there. And Beau's talking to his mom. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry, kissing her feet and everything. And she's like, bitch, you know what? I tried to give you everything I had. My mom was trash. Her mom was trash. And I hate, and before she can finish the words, he chokes her. He starts choking her. Oh my God. Choke. He's choking her. And then he like lets go. It's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And then she falls into a glass. It's like a terrarium or something. Falls into the glass. And so she's KO'd. And so after that, there's like he's like in this like, it's like, imagine like the Colosseum, right? Like the Colosseum, like in Rome. And like by the bottom of it, actually it's probably not like the Colosseum. It's kind of like almost like the Rose Bowl. But it's full of water, and he's standing in a boat. And at the top, like there's a whole crowd of people at the top. It's his mom and her lawyer. And they're arguing for how terrible Beau is. He doesn't care about his mother, doesn't care about his family. He doesn't care about homeless people or unhoused people. He didn't feed the needy, when in reality he was running for his life. But again, that was his perception of it. And so they basically are like sentencing him to death. And there's somebody yelling in the distance on his behalf, like trying to defend him. And it like says defense lawyer. But then under it, the number is like 1-800-DEFENSE, but defense spelled with a C instead of an S. And then that man eventually like either pushed or falls to his death. And then they're like, Beau, you're terrible, you're trash. And so they glued his feet to the boat. And then the boat fills up with water. And then he tips over and perishes. And that's the movie. So what it was about, I couldn't tell you. It did give like corporate greed. Like the mom, she was very, very, very wealthy. Her brand logo, MW, was on everything. Okay. TV dinners, household products. The build, we find out toward the end, the building that Beau lives in is like subsidized housing for people who got addicted to products that the mom makes. And so also in the photos on the wall, you see a bunch of pictures of like Beau in different advertisements. So it's kind of giving like Beau was like the guinea pig, and like would be the guinea pig for all the new products, so they could be deemed safe and whatever. And it kind of fucked him up. That with obviously his mother being just terrible overall, and his brother being kidnapped and hidden away in the attic. So yeah, it was interesting. I think really it's just kind of like my boyfriend had said, like a manifestation of like all of his deep is like. It's like his anxieties and fears like multiplied by 100, and so like everything he's seeing like wasn't necessarily real, but it just felt like it was a visual representation of what he felt. Like when he's running from his building to the convenience store, all that is probably not happening out there, but that's what he feels like is happening. And like when he's just like, there were so many times where like reality was fully suspended, and it was so confusing. And I don't know like what we're supposed to. It's okay, but girl, don't bark. Come here, Benaki. It was I don't know what the theme was supposed to be, what the message was supposed to be. If I had to guess, I couldn't guess. Like an overall theme, I don't know. There were themes I think of, again, corporate greed and the effect that it has on people. Like the mom had her big, beautiful, rich, gigantic house because of this company. However, at the same time, Beau and his like neighbors were living in this terrible like housing, also because of this mom's company. And then when Beau went to suburbia, Nathan Lane works for the mom, so like they have what they have because of this company. And so it's just kind of interesting like how it's all like weaved together. There was a common thread, but like it set the mom up for success, but it effed up her children and everybody else, really. I mean, even Nathan Lane, because his daughter ends up, dying by suicide, and he has this veteran at their house that is, suffers from very severe PTSD, and so I think that's one of the themes. And another theme I think is, just overall how anxiety can feel to people. But it was crazy. It was so much going on, and at the same time, nothing going on. And I loved it, and I hated it, and I don't know what to think of it. I just like that it got my brain going. But I do wish there was a little bit more like closure or like wrapped up. But that's part of the fun. I guess you're supposed to like watch it and interpret it yourself. It's art. So on that note, I'm sweating. It's summertime and the AC's been off, so it's not too loud for you all. But I'm gonna go ahead and go. I give Beau is Afraid a 7 out of 10. Maybe a 6.5, but IMDb doesn't do halves, so 7 out of 10 is my official rating for Beau is Afraid. If you have 3 hours to spare, I say watch it. If you don't have 3 hours, if your time is very precious and you're not on summer break, maybe don't watch it. But if you have the time, it's interesting. If you've seen it, please let me know what you think. Like, let me know what you think it's about. Do you think he was hallucinating? What do you think the theme was? Do you think his mom, like,